we've completed the camp construction, so we have a 20 to 25 person camp, and we're trying to wean ourselves off the complete dependency on helicopters. So this fall we'll be getting ourselves organized to. We're definitely going to get back out there and do a little bit more boots on the ground to follow up on these new anomalies.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. Joining me now is Ian Fraser. He is the CEO of Fathom Nickel. And Ian, it's good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Steve. Good to see you again.
Yeah, so news out from the company this morning talking about expanding the footprint at Gochagger Lake. Your property, of course, you've done some soil and rock sampling and been able to find some pretty interesting results.
Yeah, we're very pleased with that work, Steve. The soil was combined with rock geochemistry, where we used the PXRF and actual rock assay data. And yeah, no, it's just we kind of went back to school on this thing and then trying to figure out what would this look like on surface. And now with the work that we've done, we've expanded the footprint, and we think there's more of this type of mineralization along this trend.
We're talking about expanding it about 12 and a half times the original size. That's a significant amount. And as you said, just by sort of going back and doing a little desktop geology, so to speak.
Yeah, the 12 times, that's right in the sort of the immediate area. We did some outcrop sampling and mapping and that sort of thing. So, we're seeing all the same rocks that we've encountered subsurface and drill core on surface in this area that is now 12 and a half times bigger than the area that was actually drilled historically. So that's very, very encouraging. And then that signal replicates itself in the soils in this expanded footprint, which is, up to 25 times larger than the actual original deposit. So it gives us a big playground to go play in.
Yeah, and where it's heading towards the expansion is significant as well. Can you sort of talk about where you're seeing, it's open in a number of different directions, but one particular way I think is intriguing of just where it's heading.
Yeah, this we do have a very the highest soil was to the southwest of the deposit, but to the northeast. This seems to be building up very, very nicely in this sort of unique configuration of such a linear feature in the soils is very intriguing. I mean, it's potentially a subsurface dike of some sort, and it is that feeding into Gochagger, or is it something completely different? We really don't know, but it's just anytime you get a feature like that, you definitely have to go back out and do some more work on it.
Well, that's just it. The questions are still there now, and some new ones have popped up also. So, what's sort of the plan moving forward here? What would you like to do this fall?
Well, we've completed the camp construction, so we have a 20 to 25 person camp, and we're trying to wean ourselves off the complete dependency on helicopters. So this fall we'll be getting ourselves organized to. We're definitely going to get back out there and do a little bit more boots on the ground to follow up on these new anomalies. With the intention of drilling. And if we can really get ourselves organized, there is the possibility of drilling this fall, but most definitely come wintertime, we'll be drilling this thing very, very aggressively. But take advantage of the camp, its location, and expand these anomalies and ground proof them and do a little bit more surface geophysics. That'll get us well aligned for what's going to be a pretty interesting drill program.
Yeah, and one last thing, I just want to, you mentioned the helicopter thing, and I think that's significant because, helicopters are expensive, and the ability to have, workers within the camp staying there instead of having to be flying people all over the place. I would imagine that you want to see that money spent in the ground and not in the air, sort of.
Absolutely, and actually that's something too. I mean, it's our constant communication with First Nations is they've encouraged us to eliminate the helicopter.
Yeah,
So
it's loud.
yeah, that's a very positive development, and yes, I mean it will. With all due respect to the fellows that have been helping us out, the various helicopter companies, yeah, I'm trying to get away from that because we estimate that's going to save us about $150 all in terms of our all-in drilling cost. And if that's going into the ground, we can get more meterage out of the bit.
Exactly. Well, good release this morning. Exciting news and lots ahead to talk about further, and we'll be there to cover it all. So, Ian, thank you so much. Good to see you again. We'll talk soon.
Thank you very much, Steve. Always a pleasure.
All right, there's Ian Fraser, the CEO of Fathom Nickel.